Hey listeners, happy Halloween. It's Joe here, and I hope you enjoy this episode as much as I enjoyed recording it. It is, we're wearing a costume this week for Joe on Joe in honor of Halloween. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this special dressed up Halloween episode of Joe on, well, you'll see for yourself.
Joe. Joe on is the only podcast where Joe talks about and now your host, Joe Slepsky.
Hey, and welcome to the very first episode of Joe on Gem. That's right, Joe on Gem. It's the only podcast where we're going to watch at least the first episode of Gem. in I guess the episode's in sequential order, and we're going to comment on it MST3K style. And I cannot do this alone, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. I just sent you a shudder down your throat.
I just have to point out that I love how like burly and like manly you are, and we're gonna watch like the most estrotastic television show from the 80s.
That voice you're hearing, ladies and gentlemen, is my guest, my friend, my confidant, Mr. Christian Cintron. Christian, welcome to Joe on Gem.
Hey, what's up, bro?
Hey, bro. Ready to bro out?
We're totally gonna bro him.
Football's done. It's a Sunday afternoon. Football's over. My fantasy team, 1 loss, 1-1. I'm getting excited.
I played a game outside in the yard. I beat my dad. Thanks, Dad. I'm just kidding.
Well, at least you beat him this time instead of the other way around.
Oh, true.
No,
Too soon. I don't know my dad.
Too soon.
I don't know.
Welcome, Christian.
Hi.
Hi. Christian, you were a guest on my previous podcast, Joe on Joe, and I believe we watched Countdown to Zartan together.
Yes, we did.
You were my very first guest on that show. Did you know that?
Oh my God, yay.
So that's why you're my first guest on Joe on Gem.
That's really exciting.
Now, listeners.
I also would like to just tell, I'm going to break the fourth wall and just say that I am also the genesis or the gemesis. Of you're gonna do it like a throaty puns. Although I do like to consider myself a punt. I don't know if you know my drag name, or the audience doesn't know.
The audience doesn't know. We'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to that. You were my first guest on the show. Yeah. That's one of my most listened to episodes, and I've actually had multiple people reach out to me and say how much that was the first episode they heard, and they loved it, and they loved hearing you on as a guest. And I'm sorry it took us this long to have you back on.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, I also missed the boat on G.I. Joe for obvious reasons.
But you don't miss the boat on comedy. Christian's a comedian. Mm-hmm. He's also a drag performer out here in L.A.
Yes.
And he's a wonderful drag performer. Mm-hmm. He goes by the name of Dianya Birthday.
Yes, because I like puns.
You like your drag
I
names.
Do. I'm a punt.
But all drag names are puns, sort of, right?
Well, it's it varies. Like there's some people just do things that they love that empower them, and some people like there is a history. They kind of like improv teams. There's a history of wordplay and a little bit of double meaning, double entendre, if you will.
Kind of like how in roller derby. Yeah. Roller derby names are.
Well, I'd like to think that roller derby people stole from drag queens. Or whatever. But I also think that not to get too funky LA, let me adjust my crystal amulet. But I do think that there's a certain spiritual connection to people who embody both genders. You know what I mean? I think that whether it's drag queens who are men dressed as women, whether it's roller derby where women are accessing their masculine side and being aggressive and being all those things that maybe they don't get to be in our, messed up society.
Yeah. Yeah. We are all the same at one point.
We are.
I think
we're both.
At a certain point, your body grows one thing, your body grows another. But essentially, we do have all the same characteristics.
It's true. Yeah. And the genitals are pretty similar. I've been there. I've done the research. Hey! I consider myself a sexual anthropologist, but I do it exclusively with lots of touching and biting.
What's the name of the gorilla lady?
Jane
Jane
Goodall.
Goodall.
I don't think she was Australian.
You're the Jane Goodall of sexuality. Sexuality.
I mean, I guess my drag name should be Jane Goodwood his dick. I apologize. Wait, am I allowed to say that on?
Yeah.
Okay,
we'll let
sorry.
that one through. We'll let that one through. I don't think our censors are
Well, if you could say it on TV, like that's my new rule. I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, like random
TV is
helicopter parents.
crazy.
Yeah, you can say everything on
like
TV
it's
now.
so funny. Like we sound like old man Smithers, right? Like sitting at home or on our couch, Rebecca and I, and we're watching stuff, and we're catching up on some shows we haven't watched, like on Hulu, and we're like they can show that now.
Yeah,
like they can say that, or they can show like it's. I'm not complaining. Yeah. But I'm shocked.
It is. I mean, it feels more organic, but then it's also just kind of like, well, what are you? I mean, it's fascinating, but let's be real. I have to say this. Like, I'm contractually obligated as a person of color, as your friend, to tell you, like, you also watch TV when you could say the N-word on TV and it was like normal. Like,
well,
it was on Saturday Night Live. It was on.
Well, yeah, on SNL. Yeah, like after 10 o'clock. Yeah. But that was, like in satirical, in context, yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that it was permissive, but also like it's interesting that you can't say.
Well, it's funny though. So like it was, and I'm certainly no expert in this, and I don't know, this is a weird rabbit hole to go down on a Gem podcast, but so we were
Gem is woke, by the way.
Gem's totally woke.
She's so woke.
We were talking about Archie Bunker recently, and we were just kind of riffing and having some fun with it because here's the idea. And I tweeted our friend Roberto about it, who kind of runs the Archie dynasty over there, and we want to see a crossover between Archie and Archie Bunker.
It's called Riverdale. It's now on Netflix. Just kidding. What I think is interesting about, and maybe I think a lot of people miss this about All in the Family, but like when you think about the two shows that are spun off from All in the Family, there's the Jeffersons and Maude, and both of those were very progressive, like views on Black culture and the experience of race and women culture and like feminism.
And but also wasn't isn't Good Times a spinoff too?
Good Times was a spinoff of Maude, so like that's like
so it's a stepchild of All in the Family though. Yeah.
I guess the redhead is stepchild because why did it not give them more ratings and stuff? I'm kidding.
Florida.
damn.
JJ. Which, by the way, the Bears had a head coach named Lovie Smith for years.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He looked.
Know your audience. This is a Gem podcast.
He looked just like.
Do I get to veto like things that are just
I'm just saying
masculine?
he looked just like the dad from Good Times, who was also the
John Amos.
John Amos, yeah. Who
Kunta
also from Die
Kinte?
Hard
Did
2.
you like not even watch?
Yeah,
Roots?
well, I'm thinking Die Hard 2.
Okay.
And yeah, he looked just like we couldn't watch Bear games just without going Florida.
Oh, that's funny.
So we're here to talk about Gem. We are also here to heal the nation racially.
We are like racially.
And that's what Gem does, though.
No, it's true. Like what I love about Gem is that like Gem was. It was very much about altruism. It was very much about love. Like there's kind of a reason. Like they were United Colors of Benetton in.
They totally
like it was weird in a mildly racist way. Like I mean the Asian character's name is Aja. Like it's like way to oversell it. And then the black girl is just sort of interchangeable with the Latina girl. The Latina girl, they're like, oops, we forgot one. Let's bring her in. And then she just sort of like around in the corner like sexy Charo. Nobody liked Sean. I posted on Facebook.
Well, subtlety wasn't the forte of 80s cartoons. You know what I mean? Even on Joe, it was having a person of color there was the statement. You know, it wasn't. They had to get to the point pretty quick with it. So,
well, I mean, you don't have time to like really like explore the color, so to speak, of a person's experience.
Well, you know what? That's the thing. I'm not super well versed on Gem. This is exciting for me because we're gonna. I watched this episode obviously before we did this, but I don't know. Like down the road, because weren't two of them? They were adopted. Like the Asian girl, they were
all adopted. They were all siblings. Well, okay. So hold on. I have to say this because what's amazing about Gem is that her father dies, leaves her like 48% controlling interest of his record company, a home for wayward girls.
Wait, does she get controlling interest or below
it's
controlling?
Like below
It's
controlling.
below control.
Okay, well, I don't want spoiler alert. I
Spoiler.
don't want to ruin the entire
Okay.
premise of the first episode. But what's interesting, but like she also has like a girls' home, so it's like she's like has a lot of jobs, and she's also like a superhero. Because for some reason, I love how in the 1980s, everyone always foiled like diamond thieves and poachers and smugglers. Like it was a tool in a device and a trope in like every sitcom, every cartoon, and I'm just like, wow, like have we eliminated diamond smuggling and poaching? Maybe not.
Well, we recently said this on an episode of Joe and Joe. According to what G.I. Joe presented me, I was going to spend my entire adulthood dealing with swamps. There were so many swamps.
Oh my God. Or quicksand.
Quicksand, right?
Have you ever engaged with Where is quicksand?
No. There were swamps everywhere in G.I. Joe.
But wait, you know what happened to quicksand?
What?
Climate change.
Climate change is real. It's real. It is.
It's like, no, I mean, obviously it's real, but that's probably why quicksand
But you know what? Let's take a cue from the head of FEMA. Let's take a cue from the head of the EPA. Mm-hmm. Now is not the time to talk about climate change.
Exactly.
Now is not the time.
That's true.
While the Everglades have been completely smashed, and there are legitimate islands uninhabitable.
Wait, so there's islands in the stream?
There are islands in the stream, in the Gulf Stream. There are islands in the Gulf Stream that are literally uninhabitable. There are no people living on islands right now.
Do you get that reference?
I do. Islands in the stream, that is what we are. And there's no one in between. This is where we belong. Sail away with me.
To another place where we can
rely on each other.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. But now's not the time.
But that's actually the real message. That will, like, spoiler alert, you guys. Like, that will be what ends climate change if we all hug each other and have a Coke.
And it makes sense that we just sang a little bit because it's Gem we're watching today.
Because Gem is... Okay, so I just have to say this because, like, it's... Gem, I've kind of incorporated Gem a little bit into my drag. Like,
your drag is great, by the way. I've watched your progression of it for the last year and a half. Yeah, you've come so far, and you've really honed your persona.
Well, it's just
you
like
do it
part
wonderfully.
Of me.
Yeah,
like I like let a part of myself out, and I think that it's also me getting to live my fantasy. Like watching like Gem and the Holograms and Dynasty, like just being like that basic bitch from like the 1980s and the 1990s, but with...
Have you watched any Dynasty lately? Like any
the
reruns?
New one?
No.
Yes. Oh, of course.
Amazing. How about we do a pod called Dianya on Dynasty?
Oh my God. Because I will do that.
That would be so great.
Oh wait, I think I should do that.
I think you should too.
I think it's like the world needs it.
Yes,
because it's amazing.
We watched a few episodes and we were like, let's just watch it sequentially.
It is so good.
So great.
And the crazy. Okay, so the first season was insane because they were doing stuff and they were like, whoa. Yeah. And then they like reined in some of the gay and they brought in Joan Collins and she was amazing. She has some of the best lines ever.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm sorry, Crystal. I'm not responsible for your accident or your barrenness. It's just like the wordplay, the shade of it all. Like the original Desperate Housewives were the women on Dynasty who were these savage women fighting verbally. It's like very Jane Austen, but like, charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent.
Listen, if you want to do it,
I would do it.
I will happily.
Should we have like the viewers vote, or is this just us talking?
No, I mean, this we'll keep this in the show, but I think Dianya
could get a lot of
Dynasty would be amazing, and your guests should be like other drag queens
and
just people from the community.
We have to do it.
Oh my God, dude, that'd be hilarious. Hilarious.
Oh my God. And then if you're ever a guest, it would be Joe on Dianya on Dynasty.
No, Dianya on Joe. Because it's Dianya's show, top billing.
Ooh, hello. Oh, she gets to top. She gets to top.
Hey, I top from the bottom.
You're just going to be really high maintenance. A little to the left, a little to the right.
Hey, okay. If you're interested in finding out more about Miss Dianya Birthday, you can find her on Instagram at Miss Dianya Birthday, MISS Dianya. So it's like Diana, but with a Y there. You said earlier, why is there Y?
It's because like white people don't know how to pronounce Latin things. So if you put an Enye, it would just be like pinata.
I'm
I'm
Chicago.
Dianya,
Right,
birthday.
But I mispronounce everything with a little bit of like sausage in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's really, you pronounce it like an Enya, like Dianya.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't add that weird, like, I don't force it. I do it organically. Dianya. People love to say that.
Well, you know, today in Mexico City, there were a horrible earthquake.
Exactly. I'm more like, since I'm Puerto Rican, like I'm used to just putting like English words with a little Spanish in it. You know, oh my God, you're wearing your Chicago Cubs shirt. You know, the Chicago Cubs, que eso? Like,
well, it's a great persona. It's a great name. You look fabulous doing it. And on Instagram, you share like pics from going out and doing shows.
I show pictures of my makeup, just pictures of my life. Like, I just feel like, so to backtrack a little bit, like, Gem and the Holograms really was important to me because, like, I used to watch it when I was a little kid, and I used to watch it like porn. Like, somebody would be in the other room, and I'd be watching Gem, but if they came in, I would change the channel real quick because it was really like that. There was a time where like gender, like normativity or whatever, was like pink is for boys, blue is for girls, and I think that real talk, like I think that's part of why so many like men in this country are angry, because they've been socialized to think, oh, that one thing that you like is wrong, it's gay, it's not okay. And so Gem was really healing for me when I embraced, like, as an adult, like, I love Gem, I love unicorns, I love, you know, and like drag has kind of filtered that, because like I get to live that fantasy. Like I get to be Gem or Jerica or, you know, Joan Collins in Dynasty.
But not Asia. Asia?
Aja. Because that's racist. Jesus Christ. And then and they all have like interchangeable names, like so Shayna. Oh, well, the Latina's not even in the first season. She just shows up and she finds out that Gem is Gem, and then like kind of like is in the band, and they're like, yeah, that's great, but it's like, so wait, so you're saying that she has leverage, that you wouldn't have let her in already? Like she could have just auditioned, like whatever. So it's weird because like Gem, I have a complicated relationship with Gem because like as a Latino being underrepresented, it's like, or like represented as like a, you know, creepy Muppet, whatever. Like, hey, Gem, Latinos, whatever, yay, him.
They're taco flavored kisses.
Yeah, I know, but like, you know, but then there's also just like, you know, white culture, and I mean that's something that's also interesting about the '80s, is there was just a time where like when you didn't have yourself to identify with, you found other things.
Yeah. And
so I think just seeing a bunch of like not masculine, male, not like, you know, super white, you know, and also the things that I aspired to be. I mean, like she was like a, you know, boss ass bee. She had like really dope ass clothes.
Yeah. Did anything other than Gem speak to you like that? Like She-Ra or well, let me think.
I blame She-Ra and the Wuzzles for me being gay.
Okay, so
She-Ra had a very like He-Man in general, I think, had a very queer bent to it.
Totally,
but not in a like bad or like the gay agenda way, in a healing way.
Yes, I'm thinking like in the heavy metal like Judas Priest kind of way, where Rob Halford, who then in the '90s came out as gay and is awesome, but in the '80s he was doing, you know, it was all leather and whips and, you know, chaps and stuff, you know, and like he was so gay. He was doing the iconography.
Yeah.
But it was getting all the straight people to like go along with it. And that's a little bit of what He-Man.
Well, I mean, He-Man, She-Ra are kind of about like
not that it was purposely aiming it towards kids, but
I mean, like they're like, if you look at it like, so like take a step back, it's kind of like an allegory for like accepting your gender power. So like here's He-Man, who's very soft. Here's or Adam, and then his sister was Adora, He-Man's twin sister,
and then there was Bo.
Please do not hate on Bo. Okay, wait, hold on. No,
so
but what I think is interesting is like so I'm trying to share a really deep analysis of He-Man and She-Ra. You keep interrupting me. Okay, so wait, hold on. So I think He-Man and She-Ra are about like embracing your like gender power. You know what I mean? Like He-Man is covered up. He's wearing like muted tones. His cat is afraid. And then suddenly he embraces, I am He-Man.
Right.
And he is able to be physically like in his body. He's able to like be half naked and embrace his muscles. And his cat is a battle cat. You know what I mean? In the same way that She-Ra is, you know, she is I mean, I don't want to say like masculine, but I think it's interesting because she's a leader. She's a general. She's part of this, like, she's part of the patriarchy, so to speak.
Well,
and then she embraces her femininity and fights the power and fights the man.
No, that's exactly right. She grew up raised pretty masculinely, you know, under Hordak's thumb.
Yeah.
And was raised to be the role that is traditionally held by a man. Yeah. And then, boom, she gets to be fabulous with a flying unicorn horse.
But she's also powerful. And that is the power.
Yeah,
and it's interesting that her power is not masculine.
No.
Like, her sword is not a weapon. It is a tool.
Right.
It's just very interesting. Like, I think if you really, like, reflect on it. And I mean, like, what sucks is that it's gendered and children don't get to learn both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, hey, women, like, here's a bone. Like, yeah, here's the patriarchy, and She-Ra's fighting it, but she's still chilling in, like, Neverland with Bo as her best, like, you know, potential mate.
No,
her only love interest.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, he's doing it with Cowell.
Bo was not a love interest.
So I do feel like they're like, I always feel like with things in the media, there's this part where the government tries to, like, suppress, like, the actual truth.
The government
or whatever, like the government, the man,
okay,
the producers.
Yeah,
like, I don't know if I like that. You know what we should do? Let's make it a little bit more basic. Let's have the man secretly in love with the owl creature that's colorful.
Oh, that owl was
and
creepy.
Then women will just form an unhealthy attraction to gay men so that they can never be satisfied and fight and rise. Women rise up while you're listening to this gem. Destroy the man next to you. Kill him. I'm just kidding.
I love it. I think that's the best note to start it on this episode.
There we go.
I think that's fabulous. Are you ready to watch some Gem and the Holograms?
I am truly outrageously ready.
So if you're listening at home, we are watching Gem and the Holograms, Season 1, Episode 1. The episode is called The Beginning.
Because why bother with, like, an artistic name if it's for girls, right? Is that what you're trying to say?
And get ready to hit play because here we go.
Gem is adventure, ooh, glamour and glitter, fashion and fame. I'll spare people my singing. You know what's funny is this and the theme song from 21 Jump Street are my favorite songs from the 80s. Like,
the 21 Jump Street theme song
Holly Robinson
is a
Pete.
jam.
It is. And Holly Robinson Pete sang it.
So here come
the Misfits songs were better.
They totally were
because
better.
They were, like, more in line with the music of the 80s, whereas I feel like Gem's message was positive, but the songs were lame. Like, even Debbie Gibson wouldn't sing her songs, and Debbie Gibson did that. Ooh, there's lights. Come on, 1980s. Let's build more buildings.
So we're opening on a... wow, there's some people. Look at those people in the crowd. Did you see the looks of those people in the crowd? It was amazing. It was super diverse. Like, it was like people were dressed as, like, Prince, like Madonna looks, Prince looks.
I mean,
androgyny is the name of the game.
But that was also really the theme. Oh, there's Aja.
That's Aja. So
her eyes look like everyone else's, so it's not super racist. But Shayna, I think.
Shayna.
I think it's Shayna.
Shayna, it is Shayna. And there's
Kimber.
Gem, or Kimber.
The first...
Wait, what? Wait. And there's Gem. Kimber's Gem's little sister, right?
Yes.
Got it.
She's Jerica's little sister.
Because
right. Gem is her own entity. Gem's her secret identity.
Right.
Gem's her Hannah Montana.
So the show opens in a really cool way. They're a huge hit.
Look at that makeup.
They're super popular. And then we go to a flashback.
Yeah.
Right to the death of a father.
It's true. She didn't even wear black to her own dad's funeral. What somber. A shady... Oh, girl.
Her boyfriend's got purple hair.
He does. That's how you know he's cool, because he's about color and about, like, love.
Yeah, that is true. You got Mr. Raymond is Mr. Creeper.
It's true. He represents, like, Reaganomics, and they represent, like,
he's Alex P. Keaton.
Oh, he's totally Alex P. Keaton. Or he molested Alex P. Keaton, and that's why he's acting out.
Oh, my gosh.
Sorry, I went there. It's dark.
Totally. So now we learned that Jerica's dad also ran a home for foster girls.
Or maybe she did. You see, we missed the audio.
No, her dad ran it. And
because misogyny?
Yeah, well, of course, women wouldn't be able to run it.
And I love hold on. It also opens up on women cleaning because...
Well, no, you know what this is very much like? Facts of life.
True, it was.
So this is right out of the pages of Fact.
And it's also that, like, in the 80s was when they would always add elements of things that were popular in the hopes of catching that thing.
Yes.
Like, they're like, oh, there's a girls' school, so let's do it and, like, have that ensemble.
Yeah, like when on GHO, we see hints of, like, some A-Team influences and some Star Wars and Indiana Jones influences, stuff like that. And that makes sense. Like, why, you know. We got little
nobody knows how to use anything.
Well, because it's run by a bunch of women. Although, look at that. Jerica.
That's horrible. Jerica's a boss.
She's a plumber. She's plumbing.
She is.
She's literally doing more plumbing
Well, what
than
I
I've
think is
ever
interesting
done.
is Jerica looks busted until she becomes, you know, a record executive. And then oh my God, this poor house is dilapidated.
Either that girl is enormous or that chair
Chitara.
is terrible.
She's like budget Chitara, just broke a chair.
Yeah. Their bedroom is just
Wait,
adorned
I
with
think
guitar.
I think whenever the black girl is speaking, we should stop talking and listen to what she has to
Respect it.
Exactly.
Respect it.
Then why can't I?
say. Yay.
Oh, this is great.
She's going to go ask for money.
She's going to go ask for money because her now dead father ran the Starlight Foundation.
May I?
And Starla, oh my God, I love this girl.
Oh, look at those nails.
Oh my God, she's just
did
giving
you- did
like
you-
bougie Madonna.
Did you ever like paint your nails when you were a kid and stuff?
No, but like when I came out, I started painting my nails because I feel like it's a silent little message to like little gay girls and boys or other queer people.
When did you come out?
Like be
How old were you?
17.
17?
Yeah.
And did you not to get super personal about it, but did you come out to your family first or your friends first, or like
My
what
friends
was,
first.
you know?
I feel like I met people who
Powerful recording
gravitated
company
towards me
in
and
the
resonated
country.
with me.
And this was in New York.
To do that, I need fresh blood.
He needs fresh blood. This is
Oh wow! Okay, this is insane.
Yes.
They come riding through a door on motorcycle
well
because now this is a music video, right?
The production value of the music videos.
So good.
Okay, wait. Let's listen to the song. This sounds like a really good riff. Like that was the hard part. Is that Gem songs? They probably had like some sort of like sweatshop where they were forcing like second-rate songwriters to come up with lyrics.
Well,
but like they always had like some good riffs, but the good riffs always went to the.
But here's the deal:
The Misfits.
It's incredibly difficult to write good songs anyway. You know,
Yeah.
songs that are people want to hear. They did it 3 times each episode.
Yeah.
That at least had a good hook to it. you
Yeah.
know? Like that's really talented. Really talented people. We shouldn't go any further without saying that Gem was created by Christy Marks, who is awesome. And she wrote on G.I. Joe. She wrote on G.I. Joe. I think she did some Transformers stuff too. She's wrote comic books. She recently wrote comic books. Recently wrote some comics for DC and stuff. Yeah, she's a super talent. So
Other bands are so lousy.
Gem created by a woman in a hugely male dominated field in the in the early 80s. So this is big props to Christy Marks on this.
How dare you use my father's company to promote this trash?
Jerica's
Woo!
very.
She just called them trash.
Trizash.
She went for her.
Trizash. Do you remember the names of the Misfits?
Pizzazz.
Is that the leader?
Yes, it's Pizzazz. Stormer is the cute one with the blue, and then she was the nice one. She was the one that would like go over and talk to them. And then the girl with the white hair was
ruining my father's music company.
Girl with the white hair.
the other Misfit
Yeah.
was I don't know Slash or
So
Rocker or something.
Jerica's very upset. She heads back to the orphanage, and there's some earrings that were left to her, but they don't know who sent them. The orphanage can't even afford to keep the lights on. That's how much that dude's a jerk. He can't even pay their bills to keep lights on.
Exactly.
In this house. But also, here's the thing. I'm going to throw this out there. The dad just died, right?
I think so. Yeah.
So when he dies, does the house just immediately fall into decrepit disrepair, or was it in disrepair for quite a while
I think
the
that
dad
was that's
alive?
really the issue. Oh wait, hold on. Here's Synergy.
Oh, synergy. So Jerica meets a hologram,
You will find instructions in the earring box.
and the hologram.
Ooh,
looks-
hold on. There's instructions in the earring box about what to do. That outfit is everything, by the way.
That outfit's pretty great. But you see what I'm saying, though? The
Yeah.
dad was alive when apparently this house was in disrepair.
Okay, hold on. We're not even getting to there's tons of. I actually wrote an article about when they were bringing Gem and the Holograms out, like back. I was like, okay, everyone, can we just talk about like what was her dad doing? Like, what was he doing that he needed a holographic computer, a pink Rolls Royce,
question.
a ton of no? So
he runs a Starlight.
We're
drive-
about to wait. Hold on. We're about
drive-through.
to get it. We're about to get in there. She's going to go into the secret lab. So her dad has a drive-in. So okay. So not only this dude had real estate.
Yeah. What do you
Not
think?
only did he have a music. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's review.
Yeah.
School for girls, music record company. Now he has a secret lab. That is
All
not
these-
just a secret lab. It looks like a drive-through.
By the way, all these things sound like tools for grooming to molest children.
That was really dark.
I'm just saying.
Maybe.
I run a home for wayward girls. Oh, I have a record. I could get you a record contract. Oh my God, you should be a total star. Come on, come talk to the producer guy.
Well, I think if her dad.
Dad's a creeper.
I think if her dad, okay, like, or there's a positive view where maybe her dad was living his truth on the DL.
Okay.
And he would like maybe be mildly predatory to like hot men, but it's important to do that because of feminism. You know what I mean? Like he'd be like, hey, Jeff, you just stay around working out and like playing the guitar. Why don't I show you what's up? The problem is the hologram didn't work on giving him an actual vagina. And I think that's why he died.
Well, right. So with that's what he was. Oh my, he was hate bad, like hate crime.
He hated him.
He hate crime.
He hated himself. I think he hated himself
So
because
you think he would hologram himself up?
and go out and live his
Go out
life
and
because
live-
why
and
would he
live
have a
his truth.
pink Rolls Royce, a bunch of women's
It's a good
clothes?
question. It's a real good
and like, yeah, look, there's costumes in
Those
there.
costumes are
Whose
amazing.
sizes are they?
I
That's
don't
what I wanna
know, but they
because I
look-
think
They look like
They're real.
Parliament Funkadelic,
Outrageous.
like Bootsy
There's
but like,
Collins
You're here to-
but
vomited
also
on
Madonna
Prince.
and like punk.
Yeah.
But I think her dad was out there. He like there.
That car is the Joker mobile.
It's true, but it also says Gem on it because they wanted
does.
kids. They wanted to sell it to kids. But I also think that her dad lived his life as Gem, a porn star /
Oh,
musician.
now he's into porn too.
Well, okay, sorry.
She.
When he went out as Gem, I mean, we don't know his life, so like, let's
Right.
give him the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
And let's honor that
Okay.
maybe.
He wasn't a predator.
But what I think is really bad is I'm sure Jerica's having those children at the foundation bring in those suits so that they're her actual size.
Real quick, those girls' names were the Limp Lizards. That's fantastic. So we're at a talent contest, and like all good '80s adventures, there has to be a talent show involved.
Yeah, of course.
Has to be.
And you always raise money, like the exact amount that you need.
Yes.
We need $999
Yeah,
to like
there's
save
a
the
$10,000
orphanage. Yeah.
talent contest. And here we get the first jam by Gem called Only the Beginning.
And it's also the name of the episode.
And look at that.
It's like dueling lemonade
They had
stands.
time to erect their own stage.
They did.
And no one noticed.
Exactly. Oh my God, this song
this
gives
is-
me life.
Oh, this is such a great song.
It's the more you know.
Oh, the crane game. Oh, and the crane. The girls are in
I always
the
feel like
crane.
there's this like undercurrent of like intense capitalism in 1980s cartoons. Like it's like,
Yeah.
here's the toy to buy. Let's consume more things.
Totally. I like the focus on the holograms there.
Yeah. I feel like Jem was not about pulling focus. She shared with the holograms.
totally shared.
But you know, it's funny. You know who didn't share with her band was Barbie and the Rockers, which people are always like, oh, Jem and the Rockers. I'm like, no, you devil. That's Barbie, and Barbie is horrible. She sends a horrible message to women. Jerica had a job. Jerica had 3 jobs. She was a record producer.
Yeah.
She managed the Home for Girls and was essentially their mother. And she was also living her life and living her truth as a rock star.
That's true.
So, she might have had a cocaine problem because she's like painfully thin. And where does she find the time?
She
find the
is
time?
painfully thin
She
and
really
very
is.
pale.
And it's like, how do you
Very pale.
manage to do all of that?
And look, if you look closely, there's a hole in her nostril.
But when she bleeds, it's pink glitter because that's punk rock. I love how there's like shady
This
molesters.
contest is fantastic.
I wonder if they're from Russia. Hey, do you remember in the 80s when people like were like afraid of Russia in the Cold War, but like now we're not afraid with Russia, but we hate the idea of American socialists? Just like to throw that in there.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're not afraid because we realize that Russia's never going to invade our shores, but they did invade our shores
when they stole our election.
they invaded
This
our shores
message was sponsored by Gem. Only the beginning.
Yeah, only the
Because,
only
like I said, Gem is woke.
Gem 2020.
It's true.
Misfits are taking our stuff.
Okay, now
See,
the
that was the thing
Misfits
too.
are
The
straight up
Misfits were
stealing.
always, the Misfits would always do something that would almost kill them,
sweet car chase, and now they're throwing guitars at the girls.
Exactly.
And keyboards and mic stands. And look at that cliff. Look how dangerous that cliff is.
They're always almost about to die, and then a hologram solution presents itself.
So I live in that part of town. I'm going to lobby my city council to maybe put up a barricade at the dangerous cliffside that has a ramp that leads right into the ocean.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the way that is drawn, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazingly dangerous. Like all good cliffhangers, when we came back from the commercial break, we get 10, 15 seconds
yeah, exactly.
of the exact
hey,
same
idiot
animation.
children, here's what you
Yeah,
missed.
you dopey kids forgot about this.
The brakes on that car are awesome.
Oh, the car is great.
Cartoon Rolls Royces have really good quality. They're made in Eternia.
Oh boy, they are going to die. And their car really is orange and purple. It's like the Joker mobile.
What now, Jerica? Synergy's our only hope.
How is she your only hope? It's holograms.
Is light and has no mass. She cannot help you. She cannot help you.
She's the least qualified to help you.
Yeah, really.
Your boyfriend with a rig. I love how,
Oh my God.
See, like.
Well, this is one of those
okay,
things.
now this is.
With cell phone, problem solved here.
But also, I think that this is definitely a moment where misogyny was involved. They're like, hey, she needs to use another woman to get help from a man.
Yeah.
Amazing rescue. Local
Oh, and
news.
he gets
Rio
credit.
Pacheco.
Yeah, exactly.
The hologram.
Oh no, he credits Gem. So I guess it all goes back to her. At least there's some sort of connection.
Yeah.
With help in rescue. Great.
So this
Not only did you
angry.
give Jerica
This also feels
$1
kind of like
million
Glowish, or
worth of
Glow feels like they
publicity,
took some
but you're
people
lucky she
from.
didn't
Oh,
call
very,
police.
very.
Yeah.
The
That whole
what was
punk,
her name?
but like
What's her name? The lead of Glow.
the show or the
show.
original show.
The new show.
The new show, Alison Brie.
Alison Brie, who's great in
Yes.
it. Her look is totally Gem inspired.
Yeah,
And
or
yeah.
more possessed.
More
Well, there was
possessed,
just always that like that generic like punk, but like socially acceptable punk.
Yes.
because like actual punk was
Yeah.
like dirty and like rough and edgy, but this was like I have random makeup on my face and it's okay because
Yeah.
it's like. But I love that. Like I love that color and that saturation and like.
Yeah. So, have you ever seen the movie, the Village People movie?
Oh my God! Yes.
What's it called again? Oh, well, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, we.
It's
It's one of their songs.
yeah. You know how that movie goes in and out of the musical numbers?
Yeah.
Just like an episode of Gem.
It does.
Yeah, it really does.
Well, the 80s was also weird because like there was so much music. Like, so for example, like Teen Witch or Earth Girls Are Easy were these movies that had songs that
Right.
were germane, but like it wasn't a musical, but it was a musical.
Right.
So I thought that was kind of interesting that was like a whole thing.
That's $3 from Botany. I walked Mrs. Ledger's dog. Deirdre? $10 cutting lawns. I don't get it. How come you're
These
giving
girls
them
are.
all your money?
I made
We're not giving it to
$8
them. It's for the
$8.
honor jar. We're
Can't
all
stop the
saving up
music.
to buy a new
Yes.
refrigerator
Yes.
for the house.
That movie is
Oh,
amazing.
good.
Well, what's interesting
so
about that
funny
movie is to
is-
see a pre-transition Bruce Jenner, to see
Him
the
in that
gay
world.
undertones. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it is fascinating. to
Girl,
watch.
he had a crop top. He was living his fantasy, and I think that in an alternate universe, maybe he would have been queer and like lived. Because who was the other person in that movie? There was another male, Steve Guttenberg.
Yeah.
And then, and I love how Steve Guttenberg had a friend who was this eccentric older actress. That was interesting. I was like, because I think Steve Guttenberg's character was meant to be vaguely gay, but then made straight hastily in editing, or like in.
You think?
I don't. Well, he was a waiter. He was like,
wasn't he? He was the love interest to Valerie Perrine, who was like 20 years his elder, or like.
but that didn't feel organic.
No, it didn't because she
like,
just
was
she
thrown
right. No,
in.
well, I mean, it's not a great movie, but
Yeah.
but
Hey, now I think there's artistic merit in everything,
there is,
and
no,
it
no,
is
no.
a
No, it's a
treasure
fun,
trove.
It's a fun movie to watch.
of,
It's a
you
total
know,
fun movie to watch, but. To bring it back to Gem, this totally rolls like that movie rolls.
Yeah, but that was also the 80s. Like you could just accept a musical number because there was still a suspension of disbelief. Now I think we've lost that. Like we've lost that little element of imagination. Everything needs to be so freaking dark. Like I'm sorry, I don't want to watch Game of Thrones and be depressed. My life's depressing. I want to watch something that's colorful and bright where good things happen because I think that like when you get a cathartic moment about positivity
Gem
and
was
like
about to kiss Rio.
can I make my
You can, but we got to catch the moment as it was going to happen. So go on,
my God.
cathartic positivity.
No, but like when you have like I feel like it gets in your universe, your life. You connect with it emotionally, and it gives it validity.
I agree.
And I think that that's really important. And I think that's something that Jem really, and a lot of those things. Like when kids shows talk about love, I think it's important because kids need to learn to love themselves.
I totally agree.
Somebody's
And what Christy Marks achieved with this show is that it is an action show, but with all the trappings that would attract, women, young girls, and and boys.
And
who
it's
are
not
looking
even just,
to
but it's also
access that side.
What's also interesting too is it's not even like just action because it's also like a soap opera.
Yeah,
I mean, the
it's
argument
total
could be
soap opera
made
stuff in it.
that like a soap opera and action are like the same thing.
So some thug was there to kind of mess their house up, and he knocked over a lantern because remember they have no power, so they have to use flame, and the house is on fire. And we end the first episode with the girls dying in flames.
Or at least
absolutely dying in flames. But this, we get a little tease of what happens in the next episode. And look at that, they don't die.
Yes.
They do have a nice, like a sea
vacation.
Skimmer. They go pirate boat hunting. They find treasure.
Well, because in music videos, you can breathe underwater.
Oh, right. Oh, that's a music video, right. Yeah. Oh, and he proposes to her? Did that limo look like a different color? Like they changed it from green to yellow?
I think it was pink and white, and I think it was pink and yellow in the original, but I think they changed it to pink and white.
Yeah.
Oh, silly Jericho falling in front of a bulldozer.
All these kids jumping in water. That's the Mrs. Garrett stand-in.
They totally were like, let's make this.
Total facts of life, man. And that little girl, like that one right there, like
she's the bad one. That's why she always.
She was like Molly Ringwald when Molly Ringwald was on Facts.
Well, she was more like the villain because she was always the one that would like
the blonde girl villain. Yeah, remember her?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Remember when shows were shows? Like, there's a the reason this preview is so long is because like you would get like a 28-minute show. Mm-hmm. Now you have like a 15-minute show and like 2 hours of commercials.
Oh wow! So we get some
way to overdo it.
This is a whole ton of coming soon.
It's on my yacht.
And she's very much like Ivan Drago's wife.
There they are.
From Hockey 4.
The holograms. Anthony, you know that tape Brian Morse has been airing on KMAX? This is the group, and they need a way out video.
His hairs are
something I could play on my
so
show.
great.
I love it.
It's also he's that dude. He's getting up into Shayna. What?
Remember when they only paired black
That
actors
was
with black
just
love
gonna
interests?
make that point. Yeah, that was
they just like were always like, oh hey.
You know,
Show 'em what
it was a
means to
different
insult the
time.
misfits. Okay, misfits, let's crash them and trash them. Rio.
Who has time to both be a supervillain and practice your music?
I know.
I feel like musicians are like, I spent all day practicing. I don't have time to set bombs and explosives and constantly spoil the life of Jem.
But they were just about like, that's the real irony of their songs being better. It's like, how did they just do? Meanwhile, Pizzazz was probably like a musical genius, and because she could do all these things.
Now the
but
Misfits
she was so
are in
angry.
like the Misfits are in like a Marx Brothers movie at that point. Oh, that's so great.
Oh my God.
There's an oil tanker that's going to get smashed by.
This feels like the episode just continued. And
I
moved
know
really
this
fast.
is the longest. This is the longest coming soon on any video I've ever seen.
That's fascinating.
Oh
well,
my
that's
God.
probably also because it was the pilot and they were trying to sell the idea.
Yeah, totally. So that's it. So we've got, and the cool thing for Joe and Joe listeners, Jem was it's produced by the same production company. It's a lot of the same writers, a lot of the same animators. I believe Marvel produced it and everything. So it's got and there is a crossover character. I believe it's Hector Ramirez, the TV reporter guy that was on G.I. Joe. He shows up in Jem and he shows up in a couple other like Transformers. So he's the tying the unifying moment.
That's so
this
cool.
is in the same universe as G.I. Joe.
And also Mum Ra was her stylist.
So Christian, that was it. Jem, what'd you think?
Oh my God. So it's just like so many things. I really hadn't thought about how like much Jem was a part of my life. It just like Gem was so quintessentially 80s. It was like bright colors,
Totally.
rampant capitalism.
Yes.
The constant threat of violence from foreign people.
No article of clothing that seemed to match any other article
Exactly.
of clothing. Hair that went in 18 different directions.
Destruction, but for no
reason.
reason. Yeah, just like rampant destruction.
Cars that explode on contact with any, like things just exploding just because everything
Fire.
exploded in the 80s. Orphans, yes. Gem was everything. Dead parents. Gem was everything.
But I mean, all that being said, like I think that it's interesting because I feel like it kind of ended up doing what Barbie didn't. Like Barbie could do all these things and be like, hey girls, you can be this, but like
Barbie is very close to the Mickey Mouse paradigm of such a corporate symbol that she then stands for nothing.
But I
because
feel like
she only
Gem stood for things because like Gem was about
exactly because Gem
she took care of those kids.
Right.
She took care of her family.
Yeah.
Her family was everyone. Her family included people of color and like
Mickey Mouse doesn't go on. Mickey Mouse doesn't go on adventures. Donald does. Goofy does. All that other stuff because Mickey's is a figurehead, right? Barbie.
But Mickey's probably the one molesting those girls, and that's why they all go nuts.
Right?
Spears,
Barbie, she's a figurehead.
Amanda
Yeah,
Muggs.
they give her jobs and careers and stuff, but ultimately she's still Barbie. She can't stray too far from it. You create a character like Gem. Like if this were a Barbie the Rockers show, let's go down that route. They couldn't do a lot of the stuff I think that really excited you about the show.
Yeah.
By creating a brand new character or making a Gem, and this is what it is. It frees them up to explore areas that a corporate icon couldn't do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also just interesting because like somebody in Gem would resonate with you, like whether it's like the black girl, the Asian girl, the Latina girl, like one of the orphans, like one of the like cool, fabulous people that show up in amazing outfits that you wish you could buy at your local mall, at your local,
So the next,
maybe
the next time Dianya comes out, but at some point I want a very. I know you said Dianya is Gem inspired, but I want a very Gem inspired look one time. Find the right earrings, just do it, just do something. And actually, I was so entranced with Gem and this wonderful conversation. I forgot to ask you one of the questions we've been doing on Joe. If you could be a member of Gem and the Holograms or of the Misfits, who would you be, and what would your name be, and like what would your shtick be?
Okay. I think because of music. The music being better and like also their outfits being a little edgier, I feel like I'd probably be one of the Misfits. Mm-hmm. I feel like my name would be like Razzmatazz, and I would be like the one who's always like messing with pizzazz to keep her like, because she's the really like crappy one. Like she's the one that's a really bad person.
Yeah.
Stormer was the nice one, so like I feel like I wouldn't be like
You're
malevolent.
the one really devoted to the cause.
Yeah, I'm the one who's about the music. I'm like, can't we just practice, you guys? I'm the tall one lumbering in the corner, the one who's the muscle but is like easily distracted.
Are you trans? Is Razzmatazz trans?
No.
Or are you a woman?
I mean, I guess. Well, like I mean, in the realm of fantasy.
Razzmatrans.
I don't know. I actually think it would be more like super 80s. Like I would lean into the curve, and I would be like a guy who goes journalist. I think I would be a journalist who goes undercover among the Misfits to learn their secrets, and then I do a tell-all biography, and I also manage to find love.
So you're a journalist that invades the Misfits.
So I think like Razzmatazz would be like a journalist who like is male but does drag like Tootsie, but like does a larger like commentary. I learn about gender. I fall in love with like some dude that they know. I teach the world like what's wrong with the Misfits, and then they somehow become better people.
That's awesome.
Because I would essentially like just co-opt Gem and make it about me. And
I would be.
I think that seems on brand.
I love it. I love it so much. I would be on the hologram side. I would probably be like their stage manager.
Of course.
And I would be constantly being flummoxed. I like every good 80s flummoxed managerial type guy. I would have like
pencil behind your ear,
that ring of hair. Like so right now I shave my head bald because I'm balding on top, but I would have like that, like that mist, like that. Just the ring, so you keep the sides. Like the sides are fully grown, like something out of WKRP or something. Yeah. So I'd have the ring of hair. I'd always be frazzled. I'd have like sweat stains under my shirt. Like in the cartoon, you would see it drawn yellow.
There'd be the pencil behind your ear. You'd always be dropping things.
Yeah.
Because you just have a ton of papers on you, and people would just bump into you.
Yeah,
You drop it, like,
and I would treat the girls like superstars, but everyone else I would shit on.
Yeah, like
Part of my
trash.
French. I would just trash on everybody because they weren't giving me what I needed to get the girls on stage and look good. And my name would be Weathersby. Yes, it would be. My name would be Weathersby.
Because there's always like vaguely British servile kind of like.
My name would be Weathersby. You're absolutely right. Thank you for that. Yeah. Weathersby.
Carl Weathersby. Nobody cares about his first name. Nobody cares
they
about his
just
wife
call
at
him
home.
Weathersby. Nope. Yep.
Nobody cares about his pension plan.
Yep.
But
Yep.
Weathersby, there's no Perrier.
Weathersby, the stage manager for Gem and the Holograms. Yes.
Oh my God.
That's it. Road manager. Yeah. That's
Exactly.
it. That's what I do. Awesome. Christian, this was fantastic. I'm so glad we did this. We've been talking about this for a long time.
Yes, I could talk about Gem and the Holograms like time blue in the face.
Yeah, this was great. So I'm very glad. I hope you enjoyed it out there. Reach out to me at Joe on Joe Pod. That's on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. Or if you want to send me an email and say how much you love Joe on Gem with Christian Cintron, hey, reach out to joeonjoepod@gmail.com and let us know what you think. So glad we did this. This was such a hoot.
Okay.
Christian.
Thank you.
And normally we sign off with Now You Joe, and Joey needs to Joe is my name. No one else is the same. Joe is my name.
Yeah, or you're truly have a truly outrageous day.
That's it. All right, there. So thanks for listening. Have a truly outrageous day.
All right, thank you guys.